Last week, we saw the episode of The Acolyte that Leslye Headland described as her favorite episode. And from here on out, a lot of the mysteries have been solved, and now the Sith Lord, or maybe not a Sith Lord, has been revealed. It seems that Manny Jacinto, who plays that Sith Lord, says that the show is a completely different show after this point. Let's talk about what in the world that means here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is a guy that I have dragged along on this Acolyte ride, Mr. VashSky. Vash, are you an apprentice to me in this endeavor?
Well, one could call me an acolyte on this endeavor. Jonas, I'm losing my mind. Okay.
What a show this has been. First 4 episodes. Sorry, I'm trying to think here. How many have we watched here? 2 on the first day. The 3rd episode was a flashback. The 4th episode was leading up to a big reveal. And then the 5th episode was that big reveal. So yeah, I guess it is the 6th episode coming up. That means there's 3 altogether that we have yet to see. We now know that Manny Jacinto, or Jacinto, depending on how he pronounces that he is the not a Sith Lord, maybe a Sith Lord Qimir. There's so many arguments about this now. And he's saying that the 6th episode of the show will be a new story with new motivations for all of the different characters. This article by John F. Trent from That Park Place. Before we read it, though, Vash, what do you think that means?
I guess we're going off on a brand new adventure. I have no idea what this means. Look, the show doesn't even know what it wants to be half the time. I mean, look at the characterization of May and how much she's flip-flopped and back and forth. And, well, I'm going to work without weapons. Oh, I'm going to work with weapons. Well, I'm going to go ahead and give this life up and give myself over to the Jedi. Oh, the Jedi are my enemies again. Oh, you're being lied to. Am I being lied to? It's all over the shop, Jonas.
Her in particular, it's kind of insane. Also, this guy, Manny Jacinto's character is named Qimir, and I don't know if that's his real name or if that's just his identity when he's trying to fool people, or whether or not he's got some fancy Sith name like Lord Devious or something like that. Or Darth Devious. Forgive me, because you can go back and forth between the Lord and the Darth, depending on where you are, if you're north of the Mason-Dixon line or not. There's a little Southern humor joke for all my Southerners down there. This show is really, like you said, it is all over the place. And the characterizations here seem to vary from scene to scene, especially for May and Osha. May being the evil twin and Osha being the good twin. There's also a lot of weird turns where someone will all of a sudden say, well, I'm going to kill you, for no apparent reason. Or there'll be someone like in this last episode, Qimir decides to just do a disappearing act in the middle of a fight, even though they had somebody dead to rights. They decide to, no, let's extend this fight out, and I'm just going to kill you 3 minutes from now, as opposed to now. There's so much nonsense or things that make me go, why did you do that? Or there are moments that it's like, well, why is Qimir here on this planet? And the only reason is, well, in episode 5, we need to reveal him to be the Sith Lord, but we don't need people to be surprised that he's there. We want him to be surprised that he is the Sith Lord. Or why did he kill the guy that he sent May's character to kill? Also, why did he just kill him with a slash across the chest when he told May to do it without a weapon? There's just so many things here that it sounds like they want to say the cool thing. They want to have the moment, but they don't want it to have any sense behind it. But let's read this story. The Acolyte. Actor Manny Jacinto claims 6th episode of the show will be a new story with new motivations for all the different characters. In the show's 5th episode, the Sith is unmasked by Daphne Keene's Jecki and is revealed to be Jacinto's Qimir. After killing all of the Jedi except Master Soul, who did defeat him, albeit he refused to execute him, Qimir is carried up into the air by a swarm of Umbra moths, which, hey guys, I don't know if you know this, but that means shadow moths, after Osha attached her droid to his back. From there, Osha and May confront each other, with May eventually overpowering Osha. May then cuts her hair off with a lightsaber and pretends to be Osha and returns to the ship with Saul. I didn't notice this until this episode, but May has a little witch tattoo on her head that is behind her bangs. So it's a good thing that Osha's haircut matches hers so well. Again, yet another reason where it's like, why do they have the same haircut? Oh, it's so that in this episode, they can switch places. That's the only reason, because the plot needs it to be that way. Or maybe there's going to be some scene about their haircuts. Who knows? Meanwhile, Qimir eventually defeats the Umbra Moths and comes up upon Osha's body. After covering her with his coat, he states, "What extraordinary beings we are. Even in the revelation of our triumph, we see the depth of our despair." He's not talking to her when he says this. He's just kind of speaking it for the audience to hear it. Oh, we do have an explanation to this line. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, he told the outlet, "I think it's essentially our introduction into the third act. It's basically summing up everything that you thought you knew in these first episodes." Interesting. I still have no idea. Now we're going into a completely different territory. Now it's a different world that we're going to introduce you to. And it's not just a new story, but new motivations for all of the different characters. Jacinto's comments were echoed by Amandla Stenberg, who plays both May and Osha. Oh, wait, this is the same actress for both? Interesting. She said the power dynamics and structures that we've seen so far have now kind of been invested, which sets up both of the characters to go on a completely different journey. So it sounds like the power hierarchy of the Star Wars galaxy is about to change. She continued, "Everything that they both have believed to be true has been challenged in some way. And so now the question is, what do they do with that information?" I'm not confident that anything has been challenged here. Vash, what has been challenged for Osha, the good twin?
I mean, I guess her sister was like, "Oh no, the Jedi are evil," and it's like, I think I remember hearing that that dialogue before. Was it, I don't know, with the prequels, Anakin? Well, you are lost. Okay.
So I guess the challenge here is supposed to be that the girl her sister who tried to kill her and supposedly killed all of the other witches in the coven has now said, no, it's the Jedi who are evil. I didn't do that. Even though this is also a person that has killed or tried to kill or assisted in the self-deletion of one other person, that all of a sudden Osha is going to believe May. I don't see any reason why she would believe May at this point. So is that what this is supposed to be? And now she's hanging out with a Sith Lord. So I don't see why anyone's motivations or thoughts about different characters are going to change, other than she said, "You were brainwashed." I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, that's a throwaway line right there. Unless we have some more elaboration on that, you just can't throw that one away. Also, too, the speculation, at least what we had amongst ourselves while watching episode 3, was, looks like we're going to go back to those flashback scenes and maybe see it from another point of view. Maybe through the power of flashbacking, and also maybe, I don't know, something is unlocked in her mind or something like that. We get that other point of view, and maybe that's what they're referring to, that, this is a completely different show from here on out. Perhaps, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, possibly, or that Saul is supposedly a bad guy here, but I don't know. I'm not interested in Saul being a bad guy. He's the only part of the show so far that I enjoy on any level without laughing at him. Qimir's lines are so hammy and evil, like, I can't help but chuckle a little bit. I like things that are so bad that they are good here, and I'm not blaming any of the individual performers on this. I just think there's a lot of stuff that didn't come together, and perhaps some people that don't understand the popular perception of what Star Wars is. This is so far removed from I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you. Like, I feel like that line is just so far away from where we are now. I feel like if the Star Wars theme played at the end of these episodes, it would really let the dissonance play here. So, as for what to expect, showrunner Leslye Headland explained, one of the most iconic relationships in Star Wars is the father-son dynamic, where the father is redeemed at the end of Return of the Jedi. Our story is the father-daughter dynamic with Sol and Osha, and that's a very different dynamic than father-son. So you're going to see us explore that and get into that relationship even more deeply than the first half of the season, which focused more on sister-sister. Did it really focus on There was one episode where it was sister-sister. I don't know. Maybe they're just confident that they've sold these points in the past, and here we are now. I don't think these things are coming through on screen the way that they intend them. Vash, are you looking forward to episode 6 and the new version of the Acolyte that will be coming our way on Tuesday?
I would rather not endure it, but we're going to go ahead and do it. Hopefully it gets better. Hopefully it's like, oh, hey, look, listen, the series really turned around at 5. I don't think that's actually going to happen, though. It's interesting. You said, Jonas, you talked about the music. Now, a lot of times when I'm actually editing the videos, including the one you're seeing right now, I will actually have the full list, the full soundtrack of all the John Williams stuff play in the background, maybe even some Rogue One stuff as well, as I actually do these videos. And I will tell you, when I'm doing the Acolyte videos and when I'm covering those, I'm looking at those images and so forth that people hopefully they like. I will say it feels like a completely different franchise when you hear that music, when those scenes come up in your head and what you're seeing on screen with the Acolyte. It just feels like a completely different universe. We're so far removed, like you said. It's I guess the show could only go up from here, I guess.
Right. And I'll just point out that Rogue One soundtrack that was done by Michael Giacchino, who, if anyone is going to have the legacy of John Williams, Michael Giacchino is right up there with one of those composers that I think can actually bring it. As far as go listen to his Star Trek 2009 theme and tell me that you wouldn't want this guy being the composer of record for Star Wars films if they were as good as they once were, and if John Williams ever actually retires. I don't think he's one of those Hayao Miyazaki types. He keeps retiring and keeps saying, well, I guess I'll compose one more. Anyways, that being said, let's end on that high note. What do you think about the Rogue One soundtrack? No, what do you think about the upcoming episode 6? Could there be something that brings you back in? I personally am looking for, if the show is exactly like the exact same tone as episode 5 and keeps going from here with everybody like trying to murder each other and saying all these lines that don't make sense, that sound like they're cool, I'm going to love the rest of this season. I'm going to go back to this over and over again. I'm going to incorporate clips into live streams. I am excited for what is coming from the Acolyte. Please don't let me down, Leslye. Please don't let me down. That being said, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.